Hey Floss Tube, this is Brian. How are things going? I'm in my car. I'm in the parking lot at work, and I thought before I went into work I would just record a quick introduction to the update that I will be showing you. This update was filmed a couple of weeks ago, just before I was going on vacation, and we had several things happen that made it so that I didn't have time to edit before I left on vacation. Now I'm home, and I thought that I would get this video posted. At any rate, I hope that you enjoy it. I've been in Europe for the past week and a half or so. We spent most of our time in Germany, and also went to several other countries. Mostly just sightseeing and visiting relatives that live in Germany. How do you like my hat? I bought this hat in Bern, Switzerland. I found it in a shop in Bern and really liked it. So I thought that I would start wearing a hat, especially in Arizona with the sun. It's always a good idea to not be outside in the sun without a hat on. So that's my new hat. That's my souvenir from being in Germany. At any rate, I hope that you enjoy the update, and we will talk to you later. Thanks. Goodbye. Hey FlossTube, this is Brian. Welcome back. Today I plan on sharing with you my update for the month of April, show you some of the things that I've been working on, and talk a little bit about my plans for May. But first of all, I want to welcome you. If you are new to my channel, welcome. I hope that you enjoy the things that I have to share with you, and I hope that you decide to stay. If you are returning, welcome. I am so glad that you are back. And I want to thank everybody for all their comments and for all of the wonderful things that you have to say about my stuff. April was a great month stitching-wise for me, and I'm excited to share with you some of the things that I've done. But first of all, I want to shout somebody out. If you haven't heard of her, I want you to check out Carolyn Clifford. She's a local Arizona person. She works at the Attic Needlework, and she's a really nice lady. She always greets me warmly when I go in there and she sees me. She has posted a video, and I hope that you will go out and check it out. I was actually in the store the day that she had uploaded that video, and I saw her when she realized that she had received her first comment, and it was really kind of a fun thing to see. So Carolyn, I hope that you have enjoyed making FlossTube videos, and hope that you will continue to do so. Another thing that I want to talk about is in one of his latest videos, Gerald, that's Ginger Gerald Stitcher. If you haven't, if you don't know about him, he's another FlossTuber. And I really enjoy watching his videos and enjoy watching the things that he's done. He has some great ideas, and I especially like the series that he's doing with the Confessions of a FlossTuber and all of the interviews that he is doing. That is a great idea. So Gerald, thank you for doing that. In one of Gerald's latest videos, he talked about mate and said he didn't know what mate is, and mate is something that I have experience with because it's a drink that is drunk in Argentina. And of course, I spent a couple of years in Argentina. It's basically an herbal tea that the Argentines drink, and mate it's almost a social ritual as much as it is a tea. There is a whole set of rules and etiquette about how you drink mate and how you share mate with your friends, and generally you drink mate and you talk and you pass the mate around, and it's really kind of a fun thing to do. In addition to Gerald mentioning mate, my daughter is in her third year Spanish class, and she recently had to do a report on a country, and she managed to get Argentina because she thought that knowing me that it would be easy, and so she's been asking me a whole bunch of questions about Argentina, and that's kind of it's kind of brought back a lot of memories about Argentina. So I've actually pulled out the mate and have made some for myself recently, and it's brought back it's just really been fun to do. So as I said, mate is an herbal tea. It's loose, and I didn't think that I could really show it to you in the container that I have without it spilling all over the place, but it's a loose tea. It's made from a plant in Argentina that grows in South America that's called the yerba mate, and basically I think they just harvest the leaves and chop it up, and it's loose. They do make mate in tea bags. That's called mate cocido, but that's not very common. So the mate is served in something like this. This cup is actually called a mate. This is lined with wood. This is a very aromatic wood. This is old and it's kind of lost its aroma, but the wood is called Palo Santo, and when it's new, it smells really good. Sometimes they drink mate out of gourds like this. Here's another gourd. And the way they do it is they take this mate and you put the mate in here, mix in a little sugar, and mix in mate and sugar, and you fill it about 3/4 full, more or less. Shake it up to get the sugar all mixed in, and then you pour hot water in here, and it's almost boiling. You don't want to get the water too hot, so you pour your mate in here with the water, and then once you get the water in, you say, how do you drink that? Well, the way you drink it is you drink it through a bombilla. This is a bombilla. It's basically a metal straw, and you can see on the end, basically this is a strainer that is used to keep all of the leaves out. So you put the mate in, pour in the water, and then you put the bombilla in like this, and you drink the mate by sucking it through here, through this straw. I have several different bombillas as well. This is a bombilla that has this is the seal of Argentina. And then I have some others. This is kind of a really traditional, this is really common to have these gems, these red gems in here like this, and this one's shaped a little bit differently. So here's another bombilla. This one I bought in Mendoza. Mendoza is famous in Argentina. I don't know if it's famous outside of Argentina for its wine. There are vineyards in Mendoza, and they make a lot of wine there. So this bombilla has grapes on it. And then this is a shorter bombilla that is more appropriate for drinking out of a gourd. So, and you can see it has this same thing, except for it has green stones instead of red. So, okay, and this is all of you germaphobes out here, this is the thing that this might kind of gross you out. Everybody drinks from the same bombilla. So basically they sit in a circle. You have the person who is making the mate. They call it cebar mate. They make the mate, and they pass it around the circle. So when you receive the mate, you have to drink all of the mate out of this cup. You have to suck it all out until you make a slurping noise, and then you give it back to the person who is serving, and they'll prepare another cup and give it to the next person in the circle, and it goes all the way around the circle. And of course, as time goes on, the mate gets a little bit weak. I'm not really good at keeping the mate from getting weak. I've never had the practice to learn how to do that. So after about, I don't know, 6, 7, 8, 9 times, it starts to get really weak. But it's really good. There's nothing more comforting than having a cold day and having a nice warm mate and being able to feel the warmth from the hot water on your hands as you hold it and drinking the mate. Yeah, so this is really kind of a fun thing, and since Gerald mentioned it, I thought I would share a little bit about it with you. So that's mate. That's enough about Argentina. You came to talk to me about cross stitch. So, before I get into the cross stitch, I'll just give you a little bit of update on my Afghan squares. I haven't been knitting all that much. It's not a priority for me. It's just as I go. So I think I showed you this square. It was on my needles the last time, and I finished this square. So this is stepped fret. This is called mosaic knitting. You're actually knitting alternating rows of 2 different colors. And this is Knit Picks Wool of the Andes. I think this off-white color is called Cloud, and this dark blue is called Winter Blue. It's kind of a dark, it's not quite, well, I guess you might call it navy. So you knit alternating rows and you slip stitches as you go. And that's what makes this pattern. And it's kind of knit in stockinette stitch, so it lays flat. I'm starting garter stitch. It's knit in garter stitch, so it stays flat. So I finished that, and I've started a new square that I haven't finished yet. This is called a cable lattice. So basically, this is cables that make a lattice. Yeah. One of the things that made me want to learn how to knit is I was fascinated by cables, and I wanted to learn how to knit cables more than anything else. So I used to really love cables, but I like the look of them, but I found that they're kind of a pain to knit because you can't just knit. You have to stop and you have to exchange stitches, and it kind of slows you down. And looking at this, I can tell I'm out of practice because my cables aren't quite as neat as I would like them to be. But yeah, I only have about 4 or 5 more rows to do. I just need to go till, let's see here, till these cables meet up here, and then this square will be finished. So yeah, cable lattice. And like I say, knitting's not a priority, and so I don't have a lot of progress. But there's everything. I'll continue to update you as I knit more squares. So let's talk about my stitching. As I mentioned earlier, April has been a good month stitching wise. I'll share with you my graphs. The first graph that I have is my monthly progress, my trend, and you'll see that the number of stitches that I've been able to put in it's gotten more into what I would call the range of my average. I'm working on a couple of pieces that have empty spots rather than full coverage, and that's helped boost my stitches up, and I haven't done hardly any back stitching, which has also helped, which is what happened last month, I think. So anyway, this is that's how I'm doing. The other graph I want to show you is the number of my whip trend, the number of whips that I have. And if you look at this graph, you will see that I had a finish, and I actually had another start. So my whips are still at 8, Even though I finished something, I started something, and so I'm constant. I'm at a constant level of 8. I don't know. That is kind of. I would like to have a fewer number of whips, but it's like I finish something and then I really get an urge to start something. So 8 seems to be a magic number for me. When I actually think about it, you know, every once in a while I think, well, maybe I'll start something. But the thought of going over 8 kind of discourages me. So 8 seems to be kind of the sweet spot for me. So first of all, I'll share with you my finish. And the last time that I made a video, I was working on my duck, and I'd been working on it for about a week, and it was going so fast that I just decided that I was going to finish it. I decided that I didn't want to take it off and wait, that I was just going to go for a finish. So that's what I did. So this is my finish. Okay. This is called Wood Duck. This is from the January 1995 issue of For the Love of Cross Stitch. It's part of a series of 4 ducks. This is the 3rd duck I have stitched. So here he is in all his glory. He was really fun to stitch, and so far he's my favorite of the ones that I have stitched so far. Yeah, because I really like this cloth down here. I like the plaid effect, and I like those colors. So as I said, he's been really fun to stitch. I'll give you a nice close-up so that you can see him. So there's that, and just for the sake of completeness, I thought I would share with you the ducks that I've already stitched, just so you can remember. This is the first one I stitched. That's Mallard. And then last year I stitched Pintail. So there's the Pintail. I have one more duck left to stitch, and that duck is, let's see here, the green winged teal. So I'll just show you what he's gonna look like. Sorry for the glare. This is green winged teal, and I really like him too. This cloth, these blue and green colors in the cloth, those are the colors that really speak to me. So I'm really excited to start him. I don't know, I'll probably a little bit later in the year I'll start green winged teal, and then I'll have all 4 done. So I'm really happy with that. It's kind of been fun to have that. It's kind of been fun to stitch that series and see more of my progress over time. Okay, so that's my finish, and now we'll just kind of go through what else I worked through chronologically. The next thing I worked on is Let Freedom Ring. This is a design by Lila's studio. I'm sure you've seen it. There are a lot of people working on it. I am stitching mine on 32 count Cream Belfast linen using the called for threads. This has been really fun. As always, feel free to join our Facebook group if you want to join in on the fun. I'll insert a picture of what this looked like the last time you saw it, which was last month. This piece is one of my priorities. So I want to work on this every month because it's time for this one to be finished. It's one of my oldest whips, actually. So that's what it looked like the last time you saw it. And this is what it looks like now. So the last time you saw it, I was about here in this building, so I stitched the rest of the building. I still have to do the steeple. That'll come later. And I'm over here on the breezeway. So, yeah, I'm happy with my progress. I think I got a lot finished in a week. And it's kind of interesting. I've learned something about myself when working on this piece this week, this month, because when I started working on it, I thought, well, I'll be happy if I can finish the building. And I finished the building in about 5 days. I had another couple of days in the week to work on it, but all of my desire to work on it just kind of evaporated. It was like I hit my goal, and it's like I hit my goal, and I didn't want to work on it anymore. It's kind of funny. So that tells me that I need to set loftier goals to keep me going. Part of my problem is see these trees over here? I didn't like stitching those trees, and now I'm staring at stitching these trees over here. But I did force myself to work on the breezeway. I'm almost over to the end of the breezeway, and then I'll have to stitch the roof and then the trees. And then I'll have everything across finished, and then I can scroll up and finish the top. So I'm actually pretty happy with where I am on this, and I think that there's a good chance that this will be finished this year. The next piece that I worked on is Midsummer Roses. This is an old design by Paula Vaughan, and I am stitching it on 32 count cream linen. I'm not sure if it's Belfast or not. It's some linen that I bought at Hobby Lobby when they were carrying linen. They don't seem to carry linen anymore, which I'm kind of sad about. Anyway, I'll insert a picture of what this looked like the last time you saw it. And this one has also been fun to work on. I really like the colors, and I like the way that it is turning out. So this is what it looks like now. So yeah, it's really coming in. It's really coming into view. I mean, I think I stitched basically this strip from here to here. There is a lot of confetti in this piece, so it's kind of slow going. But it's turning out really well. It's going to look even better when the back stitching goes in. And this is one of those pieces that's going to have a lot of back stitching to do. So I don't think it'll be as bad as my winter sampler. I don't think it'll take a month to back stitch, but it's going to take I think it's going to take a while to back stitch. But yeah, so I'm kind of in the middle of the bouquet. And that's where a lot of the confetti is these flowers are there. I mean, there's like 3 or 4 colors in each flower, and I don't know, the colors aren't together, they're spread throughout the flower, and that slows me down. Here's the straw hat is coming into focus too. More flowers on the hat. Starting to see there's a big bow here on the hat. And this is actually closer to being finished than you would think. I've hit the upper corner over here. The corner down here is right about here. So I've only got a couple more diagonals to stitch, and then I'll have hit this corner down here, and then my diagonals are going to start to shrink. So it's about like this. So I am well on my way to finishing this one also. Yeah, I really like it. This is the handle for the bucket, and that'll be more obvious when I backstitch the rest of the handle. I really like the shading of this bucket, the way it looks. Yeah, I love the lattice too, so I'm excited to hit the lattice over here. Yeah, it's been pretty fun to work on. I don't know, I look at this and by the time I'd worked on it for a week, I was kind of tired of it, but just looking at it here, sharing it with you makes me want to work on it again. Oh, the next thing I did is I decided to start something. And I kind of alluded to this in my last video. And Caroline at Off the Grid Needle Arts, this is all her fault. She's been working on the Modern Folk Embroidery Mystery Sampler, and I decided I really needed to stitch that, so I decided to start it. And the other thing is Caroline shared some silk that she had bought from Silks4U, and one of the colors that she showed just really spoke to me, and I decided that was what I wanted to use to stitch this sampler. So the color that I am using is this. This is Silks4U PR075. It's a nice dark blue. It's actually showing up darker on the camera than it is in real life. And that's the thing, is when I got it, it wasn't quite as dark as I was expecting it to be, but it really looks great. And this looks like I'm copying you, Caroline, and I'm not really. It's not intentionally. I was gonna stitch it on some off-white Jovelon I had, but I got looking at it, and when I was actually gonna start it, I was like, I don't want to stitch it on off-white, and I got looking through the fabric that I had, and I found a piece of 35 count Classic Homespun that I had from, I think it's from R&R. And I looked at that and I said, that blue will look really good on that linen. And I put it up next to it and it's like, yeah, that looks really good. I'm gonna do it on this. And then I started stitching and I thought, this looks like Caroline's. So Caroline, I didn't really copy you, at least not intentionally, but anyway. I guess flattery is the sincere, what is it? Imitation is the best form of flattery. It took a while for me to come up with that one. Anyway, here's how far I've gotten. And this is really fun. I think I'm going to be slow. I'm so far behind on this. I mean, here we are in May, and for all practical purposes, this is the January part. I mean, there's a little bit more over here that still needs to be stitched, but I got to this point and I thought it was a good place to stop. So yeah, I just really love this. And this Silks4U, it's not really variegated, but there's a lot of tonal variegation in here. I don't know how well it's going to show up on the camera, but yeah, this is really fun to work on. I don't know, for some reason I am really drawn to Quakers right now. I have a couple of Quaker designs that just really want to be started, and I keep telling myself I'm already stitching Quakers, I don't need to add another Quaker, but yeah. And this has been really fun to stitch so far. So we'll see more of that. Then the last thing that I decided to work on this month, I decided it was time to get out The Spirit of Christmas. This is a design by Lavender and Lace. And I decided it was time to work on Santa again. And I am stitching this on 32 count raw linen, I believe is what it's called. Just to make sure, as always, everything will be in the notes below if you want to look it up. But and I just really love this, and I love it on this color linen. I think it just looks really traditional, vintage. And working on it has been a real joy this past week or so. So I'll show you a picture of what it looked like what he looked like the last time you saw him. which was in January. And yeah, you know, I've been posting my progress on Instagram, and I can't tell you how many people have said those reds, and I agree, these reds are just, oh, they are Christmas reds for me, and I really love them, and they have been really fun to work with. I have just loved working on this piece. So this is what he looks like now. Here, let me get these out of the way. Yeah, so I've stitched basically all of this. Mostly it's felt like his sleeve, and I'm starting to see this is the beginning of his hat. This is the other side of his coat that overlaps this side. And look at that. There is the beginning of the ribbon for the garland. So I finished this part of the garland that comes up here, and now this garland is going to go across the top. And then there'll be, of course, this garland over here. And this is another piece that I am about halfway finished now. And it doesn't look like it, but all of Santa that's left to stitch is about this much all the way down. I mean, there's a little bit more, but really Santa is really getting close to being finished. And just because of the way the piece lies with respect to my diagonals, I'm going to finish Santa, and then all I'll have left to do is this part of the garland. It's going to be kind of interesting to see how that develops. But yeah, I kind of, last night, this is the last time I worked on this, and you see all this white? It seems like all I was stitching last night was white, and it kind of turned me off a little bit. And there's a lot more white to do. I mean, I have all of the white of his beard. There's all this trim down here. There's another cuff for his other hand. I think most of what I'm going to be stitching is white. So I think Santa's going to go a little away for a little bit. And yeah, there's not just white in here. You can see that there's a little bit of yellow in there too, but if there's a color I don't like, well, let me put it this way. Light yellow is my second least favorite color to work with. So anyway, so he's gonna go away until I feel like I can tackle a lot of white, I think. But yeah, oh, he's so fun. I really want to finish him by Christmas, and I think I can. I mean, like I say, he's a lot further along than he looks. So that's all I have to share with you as far as my stitching goes. My plans for May. So I kind of considered doing Mania a little bit, but it's not going to happen to any great extent. In fact, I'm not going to be stitching a whole lot this month. I'm going to have 10 or 11 days where I'm going to be on vacation, and I am not going to be stitching. So that means like a third of the month I'm not going to be stitching. And because of that, I'm not doing Mania. I know I said at the beginning that 8's the sweet spot, and I've kind of had a desire to start something, but I just look at everything that I have, and I just can't decide what I want to start. So I'm not sure that I'm going to start anything. And I'm stitching a week, each project for about a week, but I'm not formally rotating through. I'm going to continue to focus on getting Let Freedom Ring finished, and from there, just kind of decide what I'm going to work on. So at any rate, I hope that all of you have a great mania. I've been watching your videos, and seeing all of you start things on Instagram has kind of given me a bug. And who knows, I might start something, I might not. I'm not going to say. We'll see what happens. At any rate, I hope that you have a great month. Just as a warning, I am losing my recording studio, so I don't know when I'm going to be able to make another video. For the first time in like 2 or 3 years, we are going to have a full house. I'm going to have both my daughter and my son, who have been away at college. They are both going to be here for the summer. My son will be home this week, and my daughter will be home the week after. She'll be back in about a week. She comes back right after my wife and leave to go on vacation. So we are leaving the kids home to fend for themselves. So we're excited to be able to do that, and hope they don't burn the house down. Anyway, have a great month. As always, thank you for sticking through to the end with me. I hope that you have a great month. Thank you once again. Feel free to like and comment and subscribe. If you have any questions, let me know, and I will answer your questions. Anyway, have a great month. As always, if you want to see my daily progress, you can follow me on Instagram. I am at blitstitch there, and I will post a link to my profile down below. Great. Thank you for watching, and we will talk to you later. Goodbye.